Well, hi, Jeremiah. Thank you for joining me here
Yeah.
on today as we talk about what overtraining is and how it's affected you, and then how it's affected other people when working out. But if you can give a brief description of yourself, who you are, where you're from, and any exercise or working out past.
Yeah. Hey, my name is Jeremiah. As Anais previously just stated, I am 22 years old. As far as working out, it's just been like something that's motivated me because when I was younger, I've always been like kind of on the scrawnier side. So when I graduated high school, I was pushed to work out more and just like kind of get my body into the physique that I wanted it to be. So for like 3 years now, I think I've been working out consistently, like 3 times a day. No, not 3 times a day. My bad.
That's a
Like
day. That
six
was
times a.
committed.
That's why. Like 6 times a week. Actually, I have a friend who goes to my church. He's like personal trainer. So he kind of started me out with that, and I've been going strong ever since. So yeah,
Wow, look at that.
yeah.
I'm glad to
Three
hear.
times a day is crazy. Wow.
Hey,
Imagine
some people do that, which
some
what
people
gets into
do.
our main topic for today. We're gonna be talking about overtraining. So briefly, if you can give an explanation on overtraining in your opinion, and then I could dive deeper and what I've been researching about overtraining. So what do you think
Yeah, yeah.
overtraining is?
So in my mind, overtraining is just like over exhausting your muscles and to a point where they like are overworked or can't do as much as they should be able to do because you overwork them in a sense. So basically it's just like overexerting yourself in the gym and taking your body to a place where it's not supposed to be physically.
Right. So in our work, in my research and my team's research, we found out that overtraining is the point in training when adaptations reach the point of diminishing returns. So anytime you're over over in overtraining, you're getting more the detrimental factor rather than benefits. Right. So we when we go into overtraining, we're talking about physically, emotionally, and cognitively, right? Thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, your muscle soreness or you work out so much that you get an injury.
Mm-hmm.
Also, overtraining can lead to irritability in your mood changes, right? Agitation. And then you also might get lack of motivation because you go so hard that
Mm-hmm.
it's deteriorating your body from the
Mm-hmm.
inside out,
Right.
where you feel like it's a burden now. It's work to do, right? And then also we want to think cognitive, cognitively. I could talk today,
Hey, that's a
because the
word.
scientific research it shows that people that go through overtraining, oftentimes they have a hard time concentrating after training that hard, right? So it
Right.
messes with your concentration, messes with your mood, fatigue, and even sleep deprivation,
Mm-hmm.
right? So all of these symptoms are from overtraining. Have you ever experienced any of these before? And explain your past with it.
Uh, as far as overtraining, I try to be really strict and disciplined as far as like, my regiment and like how much I work out, how much I exhaust my body and how much I, lift. But when I was fresh and new into the game of this fitness and training, there was a point where I was just trying to lift heavy weight. I got into the gym, I was excited, like, yes, I'm gonna be strong. So once I got a little comfortable and I started working out a lot, I felt stronger. So once I got on the bench, I was just lifting as heavy as I could. And soreness is normal, but my chest was just like feeling a little different. Usually I embrace the feeling of like sore muscles after a workout. Like it's like a battle scar, battle wound. Like, yeah, I did that, you know what I'm saying? But it was different, and it was like I couldn't like extend my
Mm.
my arm to a certain extent.
And this
And
would be beyond soreness, right?
correct, correct, correct. But turned to something that wasn't good because I was like, well, no, I'll be fine. Because, like I could do this. So I went back to the gym. And even though I thought I was in a little pain, I just kept training my chest muscles because that's like one of my favorite days in the gym. And it just wasn't beneficial. It hurt me even more, and it just was not getting better. And it got to a point where I couldn't even like extend my shoulders like back or like move, do a lot of it. What's the word? A lot of
Mobility or range of motion.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, a lot of range of motion. So I was talking to my friend who I told you about. who's a trainer, and he was like, "Man, you gotta take a break." You know what I'm saying? You gotta lean back, just work on legs, maybe work on your biceps, maybe work on something that doesn't have to do with your chest, because if you injure yourself to a point where you can't return, then you're gonna mess it up. So it's just like not being prideful and listening to your body and knowing that you can still make gains without killing yourself in a sense. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, let's dive deeper into that. So what you said so you got to the point where you overtrained your upper body muscle and then you had to take a break. How did you
mhm.
feel about that break? Um, what were some of the emotions you went through? Because you did spend so much time in the gym and you had a consistent regimen where suddenly you have to from it. What was that like for you?
I mean, at first I was kind of like upset, like, man, can't work out as much as I did or as much as I used to. But I realized like the gym is like so broad. Like there's so many machines. There's legs, there's back machines, there's biceps, it's like so much you can do. So I felt kind of sad at the beginning, kind of felt like, oh, I don't know about this. But I realized that there's so many other things I can do in the gym. I just focus my attention on other muscles in my body until I recover. So it started off kind of like, man, that stinks. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
So one of the things that we find when people take that break where they exert their bodies too hard, we see a lot of anxiety, we see a lot of depression, where it's like, man, like some of my identity is tied into going to the gym, and now suddenly I can't do it. Am I still healthy? Is my
Yeah.
figure going to be in shape? Or like, dang, you feel depressed because you really wanted to do something, and now it's suddenly gone.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that in terms of like sports. Like when I play basketball a lot, I was at the park one day and I was just like running, and I messed up my knee and I couldn't play the sport anymore. So like if you don't got your legs, you can't, you can't play basketball at all.
But
So it was kind of like because you're so dedicated to the sport and you're in it, it can be kind of like depressing and like, man, I can't do what I love to do because I overexerted myself and I got injured. But the thing that relates to this is because once I got hurt, I went up for a layup and I jammed my knee up against the pole. It was outside court. But I got up and I was like, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. So I was limping through the game, like trying to finish it out. And the next morning, bro, oh my gosh, dude, it was all bad, all bad. Like I had to go to the doctor and get crutches and I had to wear a brace for like it was but couldn't play basketball anymore because I overexerted myself thinking that I could do something that I wasn't supposed to do. So
right.
yeah.
So one of the things that we go into when it talks about prevention is, variation in your training, which you spoke a little bit about, prioritizing proper technique, focusing on the fun of it all, reminding yourself why you're working out, why you're training, right? And it's not simply just to end up like Superman, right? We want to be
Hmm.
healthy, we want to grow in muscles, and we want to grow in overall fitness, right?
Yeah. Uh,
um, Also incorporating rest days and then evaluating your goals and motivations. So out of those things I just said, what do those speak out to you, and what are some of those things that you did to come back to like a good mindfulness and concentration and training?
Yeah, like when I first started working out, I would go to the gym comparing myself to other people. When I work out with other people, they say, "Well, I'm kind of nervous to go to the gym because there's so many buff people there. There's so many people in shape, and I'm just, like not on their level." But you have to come to the mindset that working out is for, like you said, like you, it's for yourself. It's for your personal goals and your personal things that you want to accomplish in the gym. So once I got into the mindset of stop comparing myself to, let's say, like The Rock, because he's like
The
huge,
way. Look,
and if my PR on the bench is not as big as his, it's my personal record, and it feels good to me because I did it and not because, someone else could do more than me or someone else could do less than me. But it's just having that mindset that I'm here so I can better myself and not really to compare myself to someone else. And the gym is a very open, like an accepting environment. Like there's people that are like huge that'll help someone out, give you advice. So I feel like I realized that the gym is a very safe place and that you can be yourself and hit your own goals without trying to feel belittled by other people who may be stronger than you. So, yeah.
Powerful, powerful, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you again for joining me in this conversation about overtraining. If there's any
Yep.
tips that you would give someone who's just starting to work out about building a regimen, what would you recommend?
I'm no expert, but just consistency. I feel like once you get into that mindset where you fall in love with going to the gym every single day, or not every single day because that's overtraining, but just
You see?
consistently throughout the week. Um, I feel like once you get into that headspace of you're working, and you'll see results. Any work is work. So if you go there and you get on the stairs for an hour, or you just work out for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, as long as you're doing something consistently, you'll eventually get there. So, take your time, pace yourself, and it'll be great.
Well, thanks again for joining me. Appreciate your time, brother.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it.